Hey guys, so welcome back, and we are excited to discuss conferences and why it's important to attend them. I remember the first conference that I attended. I was actually a student, and I found it absolutely amazing. It was a trombone conference, and just seeing some of my heroes performing, actually having the opportunity to interact with them was absolutely amazing. And so networking is one of the big reasons that you can go to conferences, just so you can make connections and be able to discuss and throw ideas around with different people in your field.
Yes, and conferences can also be really important for you to build your CV. Especially if you want to be a pedagogue, maybe you want to get an academic job someday, or maybe you already have one. It's a great place to present different topics. So for pianists and for other instruments too, MTNA is probably our biggest conference opportunity. And Music Teachers National Association has different state chapters, and depending on what state you have, they have conferences. Well, I think all the states have conferences, but some of them are bigger than others. I'm from Texas, so I'm slightly biased on how big things can be sometimes. But you want to go ahead and try to start presenting on the state level. Maybe you have a local MTA that you can present at and kind of get your feet wet before you start doing the bigger conferences. But this is really important, as Martin was saying, to network, but also to build up your speaking confidence and also to build up your presenting CV so that when you do want to do bigger conferences, you've done a couple of small ones so it's comfortable. So it's really important in that aspect, especially as wanting to be a pedagogue or even just to get your name out there. Maybe you have, I have a really good friend who actually made a practice log and she wants to sell some of them. So if you have a product, you want to get your name out there, conferences is a great way to do that.
And also, when we say presenting, that's not just presenting lectures too. I mean, if you're a performer, you can also perform, whether you want to put out new music, and you had a couple of friends who've written pieces for you. Mm-hmm. You can premiere these commissions. There are different competitions at some of these conferences. Whether you're a composer, there's composition competitions, there's solo competition, chamber competitions, and so you can also do a lot of performing at these things too. And that's a great way for people to see you perform and ways to get your name out there as well. Artina mentioned the NTNA, and then also each state has a Music Educators Association mm-hmm. too. And so, we're talking about Texas. The Texas Music Educators Association Convention is probably one of the biggest conventions out there, next to the Midwest Conference, Midwest Orchestra, Band and Orchestra Festival in Chicago. And so attending these things are just great opportunities. And so checking out these different conferences is a great way to just put yourself out there. And also with each different instrument organization, especially speaking from a brass musician, we have different associations. So the International Trombone Association has an International Trombone Festival. Mm-hmm. The International Trumpet Guild has a festival. The International Horn Society has a festival. So if you have a particular instrument, chances are you have a festival as well, and that's where you can get tight with your actual community.
And speaking of performing, I just thought of something when you said that, is that if you're teaching, like if you have a private studio, and speaking of competitions, a lot of times these conferences like MTNA, for example, they do have competitions for students. So you can go if you are a student, or maybe you're a professional, you're looking for ways to kind of motivate your students, get them out there. So different conferences have these opportunities for you to highlight the work that you're doing in your teaching studios in your community, which is another really great reason to go.
And another great reason to go, which has nothing to do with performing or presenting, is the hang afterwards. I mean, I'm a trombone player. And
they like hanging a lot.
Yeah, I mean, when we go to the trombone festivals, it's more about the hang than actually going to the concerts. And that's where you actually have that community, and you can just talk shop and all that great stuff. So, and that's also a great place to network too.
pianists, we practice. So, but yeah, so guys, we hope that you'll go to some conferences either as a student, just to kind of get your feet wet, figure out what's going on, what you can do in the future, or if you're a professional, that you'll go to hang or present or to build your CV, whatever you need to do to take yourself to the next level. So, your challenge of the week is to go look up some conferences. As Martin was saying, whatever your instrument is, there's usually a conference for that instrument, but there's also educator conferences, there's Music Teachers National Association conference, and then there's College Music Society conference too. So there's so many. There's international conferences for pedagogy, so many things that you can do to do continuing education if you've finished school, or to just get your feet wet in the professional world if you're still in school. So good luck, guys, and go find a conference to go to.
See you next week.